Oh, that was ugly. I have to do that again. Oh, I hit. Oh, that was just ugly. That was just ugly, and I'm going to leave it in too. I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to leave it in. Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I want to briefly share with you one of the things that I cover in pretty much every class that I do. And it is, don't waste training time on untried setups. What I'm referring to is when you say to yourself, oh, I've got a new widget and I want to bring it out to this class and I want to run it and do a little testing with my setup and blah, blah, blah. And what you end up doing is you end up sacrificing training time, because instead of having consistency of equipment and setup, you go to a class and you say to yourself, I'm going to try this new widget or this new flashlight or this new optic or this new trigger or whatever. And you get out to the class and the item breaks. The item fails. Wrong gun. A pin comes out of something, and you find yourself in a position where you're like, well, yay, I can't, you know, I'm now 5 hours from home, 6 hours from home, and the thing that I should have brought with me to swap back in is sitting in the safe or wherever. Been there. When I was a magazine writer, I used to go to classes. Sometimes I was going to 3 classes a month. Yeah, that's a lot. I was beat up pretty bad back then. I mean, I would get beat up in one class, and I'd be down in Alabama. I'd get all just bruised up in one class, and then I'd be home for a few days, and I'd turn around and I'd drive to Ohio for another class, and then I'd come home from that, and I'd go to North Carolina for another class, and I was just beating myself into the ground. And because I was a magazine writer, I was always showing up at a class with a new holster, a new belt, a new rifle, a new optic, a new light, new mags, just on and on and on and on. And it was frustrating because I was getting a lot of knowledge. I mean, I was getting what I would consider to be battlefield pickup knowledge, meaning that I was getting exposure to things that I didn't know very well, and I was having to learn to fight with them by just trying something new for the first time and rocking on. And I did fairly well, but I found myself getting exceedingly frustrated as the years went by. And I got to the point where I said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to start running classes with the things that I want to run classes with, and I will just do the testing that I need to do with those weapons and those items on my range and write the articles off of that testing time. And the only exceptions to that would be if I knew that there was an item that I was working with from a company, like, for example, Trigicon, Aimpoint, things like that. I knew that those were optics companies that wouldn't leave me hanging. So I would get that optic zeroed, I'd take it to the class, and I'd pour a lot of ammo through it and bang it up and bounce it off cars and, drop it in muddy puddles and that kind of thing, which is part of testing, real world testing. Dragging something on gravel behind a vehicle, come on, you're not testing anything. What are you simulating there? You're simulating something being dragged behind a vehicle. But what I found was that when I started simplifying what I was taking to classes with me, one of them was this thing. I started going to vehicle classes and CQC classes with the GS-17, and I got really good with this weapon. And so anyways, the wisdom that I'm trying to give you guys here is born out of a lot of frustration and a lot of money thrown down a hole. And so do yourselves a favor, guys. Make sure that before you come out to training that what you're coming out with is a setup that absolutely works for you. Whether it be your weapon, your optic, your light, your holster, your belt, your rifle, your sling, whatever your setup is, make sure you've worked with it as best you can. My children will tell you they remember seeing me out mowing the lawn while wearing a rifle on a sling. Back before I was making my own slings, I was testing multiple slings. And there's no better way to test a sling than to put a rifle on and go walking around doing stuff with it, because that is part of the life of a soldier, is wearing their rifle and doing things. So I was walking around testing slings that were supposed to be for cops and soldiers, and the best way for me to do it was to just wear it and live with it. And my wife and my kids laughed at me when they'd see me out mowing. It was like, why is Dad mowing in tactical gear? Because he's testing something. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one. Go for the long shot. Go for the long shot. 75 yards. Love it.